on one particular night, like I said, it was May 11th, and my friends and I had taken 2 cars that night, and we had decided that we were going to go to Columbia. And in Columbia, Missouri was a college town, so it was always something fun to do, always some entertainment of some sort that we could find, and we had a great night planned. So we, excuse me, so we went to this concert. And as we went to the concert, we were laughing, we were talking, everything was going great. 7 of us total, 2 cars that night. We started making our drive home, and that's when everything changed. We were in the, like I said, it was a very small rural town, and we were going around a hilly, windy, curvy road, and the speed limit on that road was 55 miles per hour. I was following my friend Tony's car, and Tony's car was far enough ahead of me that we were actually going up a hill and around a curve. Tony was at the top of that curve when a drunk driver crossed that snow lane and sideswiped Tony. From that, Tony's car kind of spun around in the ditch and ended up going into the ground and into the ditch. And fortunately, my friends in that car, they had some bumps and some bruises, some cuts and scrapes from the glass. But fortunately, they were okay, physically for the most part. Emotionally, I know it had to be much, much worse, because they heard the impact of the crash as that drunk driver continued into my lane to hit me on what was considered a nearly head-on collision. Now, according to the Missouri State Highway Patrol reconstruction report, when the drunk driver hit Tony's car, he was going approximately 75 miles per hour. By hitting Tony's car, it actually slowed him down. And when it slowed him down, he was going approximately 45 miles per hour. Now, they estimated my speed to also be about 45 miles per hour as well. So when you think about that, you think 45 miles an hour, that's really not all that fast. But what happens is when you have 2 cars coming at each other at 45 miles an hour, it actually makes it a 90 mile an hour impact. And at 90 miles an hour, car shatters, glass shatters, and so do the people inside. In my car, I had 2 of my other friends. My friend Sean was in the back seat of the car, and Sean, when he woke up, he was asleep at the time of the impact of the crash. And when he woke up, he had a broken jaw, his collarbone was broken, and his spleen had to be surgically removed. Jamie was my best friend's daughter, and Jamie was in the passenger seat of my car. Excuse me. And Jamie survived that crash, but she survived never to be the same Jamie again. From the impact of the crash, she actually suffered a traumatic brain injury. From that, it completely smashed in the right side of her face, and with that, her cheekbones and her jawlines, all of those have been repaired and replaced with actually some metal plates in her cheekbones. She had great plastic surgeons and great physicians, and with a little bit of makeup, you can hardly see any scarring at all. But with the traumatic brain injury, it also damaged the left side of her body, in which it left her on the left side paralyzed. So therefore, she lost the use of her arm and use of her leg. And now with great physical therapy and great physicians, once again, she was able to regain that and recover from that paralysis. However, with Jamie, the most catastrophic thing that happened, excuse me, is that she actually lost her entire memory of anything and everything in her past. So birthdays, Christmases, holidays, friendships, friends, all of that completely gone. She lost the ability to be able to read, the ability to be able to write. It took her 2.5 years longer just to graduate high school. You see, Jamie's life was changed in one instant. And then there was me. Both of my ankles were completely broken. I actually have wires and pins and screws in my ankles. My left thigh bone was broken. I have a metal rod from my knee to my hip with screws in that as well. My pelvic was broken on the right and the left side. I have screws in that. I had 4 broken ribs, and my right forearm, both of these bones were completely shattered, and I have metal plates and screws in them as well. You know, if you guys start talking about somebody with a loose screw, I get a little nervous. You know, I told that at the high school today, they didn't even laugh. You know, but that was just the external injuries. I mean, internally, it was actually much, much worse. My liver was lacerated, my gallbladder, my appendix, my spleen, part of my small intestines, all had to be removed. Both of my lungs were completely collapsed. I was placed on a ventilator. I had a scar from my tracheotomy. But the most serious thing that happened to me due to the impact of the crash, we just hit so hard that it actually ripped the aorta heart valve away from my heart. At the age of 22, I was taken in for open heart surgery. On that operating table, I was bleeding to death. And the physicians did the only thing they could do to save my life. And they shut off the blood supply to my lower extremities. And it left me to live the rest of my life in a wheelchair. You see, my life was changed in one instant. You know, I can sit and I can talk about my crash and I can talk about everything that happened to me. And to be honest with you, it really doesn't faze me too much at all. I lived through it. I made it. I succeeded. And I'm doing fine. But what really does bother me is when I think about the true victims of my crash. And that was my family. See, I was a single mom and I had a 4-year-old little boy. And that 4-year-old boy's life was changed forever. And he didn't even have to be in that car. You see, the hardest thing that I do in my life is to be a parent in a wheelchair. I've had to watch as someone else would teach my son how to ride a bicycle. I've had to watch as someone else would get on the Ferris wheel with my son. I've had to watch as other people would get into a swimming pool to teach him how to swim. And on the outside, I have to smile and I have to cheer and I have to clap. And I have to scream, "Go Josh!" But on the inside, it's killing me. See, that's my job as his parent. That was my right as his parent. I wanted our society to be changed. I wanted to make a difference. I was very fortunate to have Mothers Against Drunk Driving in my life. While I was still laying in a coma in the hospital, my mother picked up the phone one day and she called Mothers Against Drunk Driving. When she called M.A.D., she explained to them that her daughter had been in a car wreck and she thought her daughter was going to die. A few days later, my mom's best friend said, "Rita, you really need to call M.A.D." And my mom said, "Well, I called those people and nobody called me back." So my mom, she said, "Just try again." So this one next time, my mother picked up the phone again and she called M.A.D. And once again, she received a voicemail from M.A.D. And when she received that voicemail, this time it said, "This is Rita. Please leave your number so we know how to get a hold of you." And that's what M.A.D. did. From the moment that my mother had made that call, they had no idea of the last name. They had no idea of the daughter's name. They had no idea of a number how to get a hold of her. But they wanted to make sure, those volunteers wanted to make sure that my mom knew that they were there. And while I lay in that coma, which I was there for 3.5 weeks in a coma and 5.5 weeks on life support, 124 days in the hospital. And it was volunteers that came to my mom's side. And they were there and they brought her coffee and they brought her sandwiches and they held her hand and they cried with us. And whenever I started to get better, I let this whole entire new family of mine, we started working together to be able to change laws and to be able to make a difference. I've been with M.A.D. for 13 years now, as an employee and as part of their membership, and to be able to work with them, and to be able to see the life changes that they can do. We understand the importance, excuse me, we understand the importance of being able to talk to our kids, to be able to educate our children about alcohol. We have to make a difference. According to research, evidence has shown that the average student will try alcohol for the first time when they're 12 years old. 12 years old. And alcohol is a drug. And when children are consuming these drugs, it is affecting their way of life. Did you know that parents, you are the leading influence in your child's life? You live by example. M.A.D. has got a wonderful program called Power of Parents. And with Power of Parents, we offer you the tools and the information that you need to be able to go home and start a conversation with your child about alcohol. Giving them the tools and giving them the resources will educate them on how to be able to say no, how to be able to get away from a bad situation. And as parents, that's the change that you can make in that child's life. We're very excited to hear that Power of Parents will be coming here in Cookville, and we hope that you all have that opportunity to be able to go to one of our workshops and see. It's a free 30-minute program, and to be able to go and get those tools and get the information that they'll have available. We thank you so much for everything you were doing. Thank you so much for having me.